Stop trying to be cute. What are we doing here? Jefferson with that catch. Oh my God. This game is giving me strokes. Oh man.
Tell you guys I love you. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. And that will never change. I will ride with this group until they don't let us play any more games.
Welcome back to Vikes Vibes Season 4, Episode 16. All right. First off, if I sound a little off, I have been sick, so bear with me. This game against the Raiders, there's a battle against the defenses, and to be totally honest, that was probably one of the most boring games I've ever watched. It was bad. Kevin O'Connell stuck with Josh Dobbs for this game as the starter, and it didn't go very well, even though he didn't have any turnovers, no fumbles, interceptions. But he was sacked a bunch of times, and times where he should have used his legs, he didn't. He did not get anything going at all. I was proved wrong. As I said, he was our best bet to winning the game, and that definitely did not end up being the case, as he was benched late in the game for Nick Mullins. And after Nick Mullins came in there, it looked, the offense looked a lot better. And that was, it was kind of surprising, just because we've seen Nick Mullins before, and it's not that great, but more experience and more games under his belt. I guess those things come into factor, and Mullins knows the offense better. So, the time that Mullins was in there versus all the time that Dobbs got, Mullins had more yards than Dobbs in this game. And the big return of Justin Jefferson, it wasn't anywhere near as exciting as it was predicted. The very first play. Now this, man, the very first play out on offense for us, it was a pass from Dobbs right to JJ. And the defense, they didn't fall for it. They just about came up with a pick on that first play. Now, I told Jaron this, and I even said it out loud while I was watching the game. Everyone in the damn nation knew that first play was going to go to Justin Jefferson. You should have known that everyone would have known. Actually, I take that back. It was not the first play on offense because the first play Jefferson was not out there. It was the first play that Jefferson was in. So I tracked myself there. But then again, everyone knew once Jefferson was in, that first play, the ball is going his way. What I would have done is I would have at least pump faked to Jefferson, make the defense completely bite on it, and go a different direction. That would have been the perfect opportunity to fake out the defense. But instead, you take the completely predictable way when everyone, like I said, the whole nation knows it's going to Justin Jefferson. And everyone knows. Let's just throw it there anyway. Yeah, it almost costed a turnover. It just it was so predictable, and yeah. I mean, it could have worked. I mean, you are throwing to Justin Jefferson. You could have caught the ball, but think a little outside the box there. Like, come on. And then Jefferson's return, unfortunately, it was short-lived as in the second quarter he caught a pass and he was hit pretty hard in his back or side, and he ended up leaving the game and not returning, and actually went to the hospital with a chest injury. So on that play that he got hurt, I don't know. I feel like that was a little bit on Dobbs, just because I feel like that pass was thrown too high and Jefferson had to jump up for it, which it exposed him for that hit. So I kind of I I don't like to play the blame game, but I do partially put that on Dobbs for ball placement, but I'm not going to sit here and be like, "Oh, well, Dobbs is the reason why Jefferson got injured and blah 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 blah." I'm just saying that that's what it looked like. I'm not saying that it's completely all on Dobbs, but that pass should have been thrown a little better, not as high. So going to the defense for this game, our defense played outstanding as usual, keeping them to 0 points the whole game, and forced turnovers, getting sacks. Man, if our offense could just get on track for once, man, this defense or this team could be dangerous. The defense is there, but the offense just cannot find any traction. So undrafted rookie Ivan Pace Jr. Ivan Pace Jr. is him. This guy had a hell of a day. He was all over the place. He had a sack. He had, and he made the game-sealing interception at the end of the game. This guy seems to be getting better and better every single week. And it is a hell of a pickup for an undrafted rookie. He's playing like he's, you know, he was mid-rounder or higher. And he was undrafted. This guy is playing lights out. And he got a game ball, and I'll show the locker room speech here from Calvin O'Connell.
Hey, let me tell you something. Anybody that wants a depiction of what it looks like when a team, no matter what, does not flinch. Got hard for us on offense. We had a lot of guys go down, a lot of guys that we rely on. Next man up, kept on rolling along. 0 turnovers for the offense today. Give it up for yourself. Let me just tell you something. This defense is a championship defense. All right? It's a championship defense. My trust to coach the game, call the game, whatever you want to call it, knowing that sometimes you got to let the strength of your group in its current form lead the way. And every single time you guys had to make a play, you did. Every single time, all right, we were backed against the wall. On the road, you guys made a play. And I commend you for that. Every single defensive player and defensive coach gets a game ball today. But a couple guys are getting 2. A couple guys are getting 2. This guy just played his 172nd game, most by any defensive back in team history. All right, we are lucky to watch this guy ride every single day, leading us with a C on your chest. You don't have the type of culture we have in this building without Harrison Smith. Where you at? And this other guy we're going to single out, all he did was go out and have 13 tackles, 1 sack, and when we had to have it, leaned on him the most, 1 interception. Where's my guy? Peter! You don't got to talk, but you got to break them down. Hey, Vikings on 3. 1, 2, 3. Vikings!
All right, there you go. That is locker room speech, and game balls. The whole defense and the whole all defensive coaches got game balls, and then Harrison Smith, the most games played by a defensive back in team history, he got a game ball, and Ivan Pace Jr., man, he balled out. This game, it like I said, it was very boring. The Vikings, we ended up pulling it off 3-0. Now, like I said, Nick Mullins had more yards than Josh Dobbs, and Nick Mullins he didn't even play a full quarter. So to get into some of the stats, I'm not going to go too in detail. Nick Mullins went 9 for 13 for 83 yards, and then Josh Dobbs, he went 10 for 23 for 63 yards. The top rusher was Madison, 10 carries, 66 yards. Receiving, Hawkinson, 5 receptions, 53 yards. And this is kind of a weird stat. Both Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson both had the same exact stat line. 2 receptions, 27 yards on 3 targets. That's the same exact stat line for both receivers, Addison and Jefferson. Josh Metellus forced a fumble. interceptions. Ivan Pace Jr. had the one interception. Defense, Ivan Pace Jr. led the way, 6 tackles, 6 and a sack. Greg Joseph kicking 1 for 2 on field goals. There was a field goal earlier on in the game where we could have went up and took the lead, but he missed it. But then when it came down late in the game to kick the winning field goal, he made it. Then going to the Raiders, Aiden O'Connell passing 21 for 32, 171 yards, no touchdowns, and an interception. Rushing, Josh Jacobs, 13 for 34 yards. Receiving, Devontae Adams, 7 receptions, 53 yards. And then Hunter Renfrow, 3 receptions, 46 yards. Fumbles, Hunter Renfrow and Greg Van Roten both lost fumbles. They did not have any interceptions. On defense, Robert Spillane led the way, 7 tackles, 3 assists, 1 sack. Max Crosby had 6 tackles, 3 assists, and 2 sacks. Tyree Wilson had 3 and 1 with a sack. Janarius Robinson had a tackle and a sack. Let's see here. Yeah, that's it. So some team stats: total yards, Minnesota 231, Las Vegas 202. Passing yards, Minnesota only with 99, Las Vegas with 146. Rushing yards, Minnesota 132, Las Vegas with 56. Average yards per play, Minnesota 3, Las Vegas 4. Fumbles lost, Minnesota 0, Las Vegas with 2. Interceptions thrown, Las Vegas 1, Minnesota 0. Sacks allowed, Minnesota 5, Las Vegas 4. Third down efficiency, Minnesota 40%, Las Vegas 21%. Time of possession, Las Vegas 32-11, or Minnesota with 32-11, Las Vegas 27-49. And penalties, Minnesota 5, Las Vegas 4. So now the Vikings go to 7-6. Vegas is 5-8. And now the playoff picture has changed a little bit here in the NFC. Well, all together, but I'll show you the screen here. So the 49ers ended up clinching the playoffs already. And as of right now, they do have the number 1 seed, record of 10-3. Then the Cowboys at 10-3 just beat the Eagles. They are sitting at the 2nd seed at 10-3. And then the Lions, they just lost to the Bears. They fall to 9-4. They're at the 3rd seed. Tampa Bay, the leaders of the NFC South, 6-7. They're in the 4th seed. The Eagles, they fall all the way down to the 5th seed after losing to Dallas, and now are 10-3. And the Vikings are still sitting in that 6th seed at 7-6. Packers just lost to the Giants and fall to 6-7, and they are still in the 7th seed. So we did gain a little bit of ground on the Lions. It's still Man, the division's still up for grabs. We're 2 games behind the Lions. We do play them twice still. So it's very much in reach still, but we got a lot of work to do. So I feel like we'll end up I feel like we'll end up in that 6th seed. Unless for some reason we go on a winning streak and just win the NFC North, and we might find ourselves up in that number 3 seed where the Lions are, but that's kind of far-fetched. It's still very possible, but yeah, it's going to be an interesting last few weeks of the regular season here. So now we look to ahead to Saturday against Cincinnati. This game was flexed to Saturday at noon, the first of 3 games on Saturday. So the first matchup is the Vikings at Cincinnati. Justin Jefferson going up against his former LSU teammate, Jamar Chase. And we're also, he would be facing his former quarterback from LSU too, but Joe Burrow is out for the rest of the season. But we are facing another former Vikings backup quarterback, Jake Browning. He's been playing very good lately. He's kind of surprising a lot of people. He definitely has some weapons. He's got Joe Mixon, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. The list goes on. And then for Justin Jefferson in this game, Kevin O'Connell said on Monday that Justin Jefferson does have a good chance to play in this game on Saturday. So let's hope that Jefferson is healthy again and can play in this game. We definitely are going to need him in these last 4 games or so. And then also obviously in the playoffs. So I have not heard who the starting quarterback is going to be for the Vikings in this game. But if it was up to me, or I had to guess, I would put my money on Nick Mullins, just for the simple fact of how he looked when he came into the game. For Dobbs, I think the Dobbs era might be over in Minnesota. So I honestly think it should be Nick Mullins going into this Bengals game. So some rankings and stats for this game against the Bengals. Total offense, Vikings at 12th, Bengals at 22nd. Defense, Vikings at 10th, Bengals at 31st. Passing, Minnesota 8th, and the Bengals at 16th. Rushing, Minnesota 27th, and the Bengals at 31st. Man, I didn't know that there was a team that was worse than us. Then team leaders for the Bengals. Joe Burrow. He ended his season with 2,309 for yards, 15 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Rushing, Joe Mixon, 201 attempts, 768 yards with 7 touchdowns. Receiving, Jamar Chase, 89 receptions, 1,092 yards with 7 touchdowns. Total yards for team stats, Minnesota at 46-47, Cincinnati 43-26. Let's see. Average yards per play, both teams at 6. Points scored, Minnesota 266, Cincinnati at 280. Fumbles lost, Minnesota 14, and Cincinnati only has 2 lost fumbles this season. Wow. Interceptions thrown, Minnesota 10, Cincinnati 9. Sacks allowed, pretty even here. Minnesota 32, Cincinnati 33. Third down efficiency, Minnesota 40%, Cincinnati 35%. Let's see here. Time of possession was pretty close. Both at about 30 minutes. Penalties, Minnesota 63, Cincinnati 66. Total yards allowed, Minnesota at 4302, Cincinnati at 5129. Points allowed, Minnesota 242, Cincinnati at 287. Interceptions, Minnesota 10, Cincinnati 13. Sacks, Minnesota 36 and Cincinnati at 35. And then allowed third down efficiency, Minnesota 40%, Cincinnati at 42%. So those are some team leaders, rankings, team stats going into this game against the Bengals. Like I said, Saturday the 16th at noon. Both teams, the Vikings and the Bengals, are both 7-6, playing in Cincinnati. Should be probably a cold weather game. So we'll get to see how our Vikings fare in some cold weather. And yeah, we'll see how many guys we can get back that were injured in the Raiders game. They just seem to kind of drop like flies. There's Brian O'Neill. There was Justin Jefferson, obviously. Dalton Reisner got shaken up. So keep an eye on those guys, and hopefully we can get them back for this Bengals game on Saturday. So a little shorter episode this time. The next episode I'll try and get Jaron on. I just been sick. I wasn't able to get that exclusive video with Jaron for the last from the last episode, as like I said, I've been sick, so I apologize for that. So that's all I got for this episode. So let's go out and beat the Bengals on Saturday, and as always, Skol Vikings, and we'll see you in the next one. See ya.